Very good. Welcome back, everyone. Lovely to see you all. And let's begin by going straight into the superpower exercise. So take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer. And go into your superpower state, however you normally do that. Repeating your word or phrase, or using your anchor, or by focusing in on everything you love and appreciate about your subject. Good job. And now allow that light, that energy to shine out of your heart, feeling that expansion feeling in your chest, that opening feeling in your heart. Noticing how wonderful that feeling feels of expansion. And allowing that. And now allowing that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. Very good. Now allow that light or energy to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Love each cell just for existing. Very good. Good job. Now allow that light or energy to fill the little you, yourself as a child, any age. Love that little you just for existing, no matter what. And allow that light, that energy to overflow from that little you and fill your whole childhood, shining that light into any darkness, aiming that power at everything, everyone, every circumstance, every event, no matter what. Very, very good. And now allow that light or energy to overflow from you and fill everyone who's in the session today. All those who are on camera, all those who are off camera today. Fill each one with that love, that light, that energy, loving each one just for existing. And also focusing in now on the feeling of being loved just for existing. Being loved with no expectations, no judgment, no matter what. Feeling that light, that energy, that love coming from everyone else, including me, loving you exactly as you are. Good job. Very good. You can open your eyes if you haven't closed. All right, everybody. Lovely to see you all again. And let's start checking in with each person. So, Lisa, how are you today?
Oh, fine. It's Wave Your Wand Wednesday. This is from your book called Business Success.
Very good.
Reprogram your subconscious mind. So, so I have, okay, so memories are not real. The event is not happening now. What you're experiencing in your mind is just neurons firing in a specific sequence and chemicals being pumped into your bloodstream, creating sensations, feelings, emotions, and impulses. This means you can change them, and your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between reality and imagination, cannot use logic or reason, and cannot judge something as unrealistic. It will believe whatever you give it. So although you will still know consciously what happened, as long as you practice the new memories to establish the new neural network, your subconscious will believe the new evidence and use that as the new reference.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Lisa. Yes, so just like learning a new phone number. Just like learning a new phone number. And for a physical example, as you were talking there, a physical example occurred to me of parting your hair. You know, if you've ever changed the parting in your hair, it takes a little time to get used to, but if you keep combing it or brushing it in that way, eventually that path will change, and then that's the way your hair will automatically go. So that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing. And these, I think the thing that takes a little while to get our heads around is that these are physical connections, because when we have thoughts and feelings, they seem esoteric. It seems sort of out there, intangible, but these are actually physical connections, just like your hands, just like when you put your hands together like that kind of thing, just like your hair growing and all of that. So thank you, Lisa, for sharing that. Very good. Another good one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good job, sweetheart. All right. And then Swasti. Hi, Swasti. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
I had a question about, well, I've been feeling like really anxious about so the IQ exam that I talked about. I know I keep coming back to it and it's going round and round, but I postponed it and then I had to postpone it again. So it's now on the 28th of September instead of August. And then I've been feeling like really anxious about.
Okay. So let's look at it. So what's wrong? What are you worried about with the IQ exam?
Well, I just don't want to get a lower score than last time, or just even if I got the same score, I wouldn't really be happy.
Okay. So what are the consequences of getting a low score or the same score or the same score?
Well, I'll be like limited in the unis I applied to, and even if I applied to those, like I might not get an interview and then get a place in that university for
Okay.
next year.
So you know which ones you want to attend?
Yeah, I want to apply to King's College or Queen Mary's London if it goes well. But if it doesn't, then Leicester or Plymouth. It have to be those two.
All right. So those ones that you've identified there, what's the score that you have to get to get into those?
So with Leicester and Plymouth, the one I got last time, so 620 like average would do. Well, the thing is, they don't tell you exactly what scores you need. So I applied last time with some research, and then they got back to me after the application. They said, oh, this is the score we actually needed, which was like lower than my score. So I could have applied to different unis and gotten like offers and things, but because it's not stated on their website, you can't really find that information. So you could apply to the wrong unis. It's not very transparent at all, really.
Okay, so the ones that you most want to attend, you don't know what score you need to get in.
I mean, approximately, I need like 680 plus.
680, okay. And what did you get last time?
620. So this is like average across 4 sections.
All right, very good. So how much of an increase do you need in order to get what you want?
Yeah, it's a 60 kind of points above.
60 points, okay. And what does that entail? What do you need what would you need to achieve in order to get those 60 points, do you think?
Well, there was one section that was way below average. And that's my weakest, which is the English one, where you have to do the comprehension, the 4 statements, and are they corresponding to the thing. That's just the time pressure that I can't do it in. Like, so when I do it without the time pressure, I can pretty much get everything right, but not without.
Fantastic. Well, that means that's changeable, right?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's exciting. I want to do it now. So there are, if I understand correctly, there are resources online where you can just keep practicing, right? Good. Now tell me this, when you practice whatever the comprehension, the English comprehension exercises and questions and whatever those are, do you enjoy doing it?
No, because I know like I'm not good at it, so I don't feel
That's
no.
where it is. Okay, so that's where you can make a change. That's where
Okay.
you can improve your score.
Mhm.
Okay, so here's what I'd like you to do. Spend some time thinking about doing it and thinking about achieving it. So the end result, like how wonderful is that feeling when you get it all right in the a lot early, with in less time than you needed to get it done. Can you
Okay.
imagine how that'll feel?
Oh yeah, that would be a relief.
Yeah. So now this is such a great one example for everyone. So thank you, Swasti, for this, because this is fantastic. So that feeling of having got it all right in less time than you had, in other words, got more than you wanted, that's where you're headed. That's where you want to be, right? That's your destination. That's the end result you're looking for. Now, every single time you think about not getting it or anything else that is not that, you've gone off the road and you're heading in the other direction. So then when you discover, oh, I'm off the road again, you need to turn around and start heading back towards where you want to be. Does that make sense?
Okay, it's changing your focus in the
Yes.
moment.
Because remember that we are always headed in the direction we're facing.
Yeah.
Wherever you're looking in any given moment, that's where you go. So we're always moving forward. We are always moving forward. Now, sometimes we're moving in a completely different direction to where we want to be. And that's when we're looking in that direction. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that goes for everybody. Every time you think of something you're worried about, something you're frightened of, every time you focus on anything that you don't want, while you're focusing on it, that's where you're headed. You're going directly towards it. So you need to turn your head. I know I want to go over there, and then it's the same as walking or driving. Wherever we're facing when we walk is where we're going, and wherever we are facing when we're driving is the direction. And if we face the beach, then we're going towards the beach. If we face the city, we're going towards the city. And if you want to get to the beach, but you keep facing your face towards the city, then you keep going towards the city. You have to keep turning around. So it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. So it's not a terrible thing, but it's having that awareness and knowing. So when you are worried or when you're thinking about something that you don't want, and you find that you can't change it, that's okay. It's not terrible. So I don't want people to get frustrated with themselves or worried. It's just you can go, okay, so I'm heading off road at the moment, but at least I'm aware of it. And when I can, I will turn around and get back on the road towards where I want to go. That's a very important piece, because sometimes you just can't. You're too frightened or you're too worried or whatever. And so it's giving yourself that break, but knowing that you can turn around and head back, and having that awareness. So, and of course, we'll do the allowing exercise and find the references for the rest of it. But I wanted to just have that overview, that make sure that you are facing where you want to be as much as possible, which for you in this case is that feeling of, I did it. I got them all right and in less time than I had. So it's that touchstone. And so perhaps saying to your parent, perhaps telling your parents, I got it all done and it was no problem. Something, whatever you would say to them in that case, or telling a friend or telling us, whatever you'll do when you get that result, like you did with the other results you got, which was, you needed A's and you got A's and an A star. And you told us, have that moment with this in your head. So you've got that as a reference, actually. And so this is not just, think positively, it's face where you want to go, face where you want to end up. So that's what you're doing there. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah, I've tried, so being aware of how you're feeling. Most of the time it's actually not good.
Yes.
So I just have to change my focus every single time. Yeah.
Every time. Now, in addition to that, because of course we want to make sure, because, using that same analogy, if you want to get to the beach and you keep going towards the city, and so you become aware and you go, oh no, I need to keep turning around, going back to the beach. Now, if your GPS coordinates are set to the city, then that's just going to keep happening, right? You're not going to get very far. So in addition to becoming aware of what, where your focus is and that's where you're headed, and making those corrections, correcting that course, you also want to make sure that those GPS coordinates are changed. So let's look at those now. So first question is, what is the feeling of not, like let's say worst case scenario. So tell me what the worst case scenario is in this.
I'm just getting a really poor score, below average, like for the whole country. And then, sorry, there's a fly. It's like buzzing around. And then, like applying to the unis that I think I should apply to, and then getting rejected again. And then I'll have to, basically, there's no choice. I'll go for the biomedicine transfer to medicine course that I was initially planning to go to.
Yes. Okay, good. So I want you to go there now. Go to that now. So that's happened. You got the lowest score that you could have imagined.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're going to settle for that the biomedicine thing. And so now that's what you're going to do. How does that feel?
Oh, that feels devastating.
Devastating. Very good. So that feeling of devastation, can you feel it now?
Yeah, it's like tears coming up.
Good job. Very, very good, Swasti. Good job, sweetheart. And we know that this is not about the universities, it's not about the applications, and it's not about the score. Very good. So this is why it's good to address it. So that feeling of devastation, I want you to invite it in and give it a seat. Say, have a seat. Come in. Can you do that? So we're doing hospitality now.
Yeah, so is it like an entity or just
Yes.
regions?
Yes. In fact, let's start with where do you feel it in your body, that feeling of devastation? So you got the lowest possible score and you didn't get into the ones you wanted to, and now you're going to do the bio thingy. How does that feel? I mean, where are you?
Yeah, it's like when you feel hot suddenly.
Yeah.
Like sweaty palms and dry mouth.
Yes, very good. So that's the adrenaline, cortisol. Good job. So now I want you to just allow that feeling as a sensation. So it doesn't mean anything. Just allow it to be there. Notice it out of curiosity. Sweaty palms, that's interesting. And anything else, that hot feeling, just notice the sensations, like you would notice the sensation of your hand on your leg, and put your hand on your leg if you need to remind you that that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the physical sensation. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Good job. Very good, sweetheart. You're doing very, very well. And so just allow it to be there. There's no judgment. It doesn't mean anything. And we're not going to try and stop it or make it go away or change it. Just allow. Are you able to do that?
Yeah, it's definitely death.
Very good. Very good. And so as you're allowing it now, I want you to step back from it, if you can, and have it in front of you as like an entity or something. And for everybody else, if you're not visual, that's okay. Just a knowing of what it is fine. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Good. Very, very good. And now I want you to see, so that feeling, tell it it's very welcome. There's no reason to make it go away. You're very welcome. Have a seat if you like. And what does that feeling need?
It says attention and love.
Yes, yes, very good. Very much like you did as a child.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so can you give that feeling attention and love right now?
Yeah, I can hug it. I can pick it up and hug it.
There you go. Very good. So give it a hug. And how does it feel when you're giving it a hug? How does the feeling feel when you're giving it a hug?
Yeah, it becomes like a water soft thing. Like if you hold it, like one of the, I don't know, Orbeez. One of
Yes.
those, they'll like burst, those balls that you squish them and they burst.
Yes. Good. And how does that feel for you?
Yeah, it feels like letting go. Feels good.
Very, very good. Very good. And now I want you to imagine the little Swasti in front of you. Yourself as a child, any age, whatever comes up first. You got it?
Yeah.
Very good. And I want you to do the same with that little you. Give her the love and attention she needed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And tell her that she can't get it wrong. No matter what she does, she's loved exactly as she is, even if she never did anything. Even if she never did anything in school, never achieved anything, never went to university, even if she just sits around playing all day, she's completely loved and accepted. Can you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Good. And how does that feel?
Yeah, it feels like a relief. And the hotness has gone away.
Yeah, perfect. Very good. Now let's bring your parents into that scene and have them tell the little you that. Do the same thing so that your parents hug that little you and tell her that she's perfect exactly as she is. Because the truth is, your parents do love you no matter what. And I know
Mm-hmm.
you know that intellectually. So, even if you never did anything, they would be worried and they would be frightened and they would try and, get you to do whatever. But the love doesn't go away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So it's good to remember that intellectually. But of course, we also want to change that reference and make sure that that's the reference in your subconscious as well. So have your parents do the same with that little you that you just did. Can you do that?
Yeah, I can imagine them like hugging you, kind of comforting you, but comforting me, but I can't have them say that to me. Like,
Oh, good. So what happens when you try?
it just seems fake and wrong.
Good, very good. So this is more references because you see, and this is for everybody else as well, and especially those who are new, as you're, to make them say that to the little you, they're not actually in your head. So you can make them do anything. You could put on, hats and feather boas and red noses. And I mean, you could do pretty much anything in your head because, well, literally anything in your head because it's just neurons, right? So they're not actually there. So when you find you can't do something, the question to ask yourself is what happens when I try? And then that leads you to a reference. So this is fantastic, Swasti. So when you try, it seems fake, you say?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. And how do you know it's fake?
Well, what they're saying, like right now, is no, you have to, like, you have to work hard and achieve
Right.
what you want to achieve, and also just what's expected of you.
Very good. Okay. So let's look at very briefly their childhoods. What's there when the first thing that comes to mind when you think of your mum's childhood?
It's actually not good. It's like working on the farm, like she was used to.
There you go.
I
There you go.
didn't change that.
So that's the one to change. Yeah, very good. So make sure that she never had to work. And her parents said to her the same thing. You don't have to do anything. We want you to be happy. That's, the top priority is that you're happy because that's the most important thing. Have her parents teach her what we teach you, and then have her teach you what we teach you.
Okay.
Okay, so this is something that's been passed down. This is not coming from us. This is something that's been passed down through your family.
Okay.
And it's how they live and how they, the approach they have. The most important thing is how you feel because how you feel affects everything. So working really hard, I was speaking to someone about this morning, massive action, Tony Robbins, hustling, all of that kind of thing, working really hard, that is okay, but it will not work if you're not feeling great as well. If you're stressed, if you're worried, if you're struggling, that the stress The worry and the struggling are what is going to create whatever results, and they're not going to be the results you want. So if you're the only way, massive action, working hard and hustling and all of that, the only way that works and produces the results you want is if you're loving it, is if it's fun. I love doing this work. I love taking massive action that feels fun. And then, yes, you'll get the results. Does that make sense? So have your parents teach you that.
Mm-hmm.
The most important thing is how you feel. So that's that. Now let's look at your dad. First thing that comes to mind when you think of your dad's childhood, what's there?
It's like, well, it's two things actually. It's like his dad picking him up and spinning him around and saying, like when he comes back from school.
Nice.
There's also one where he's telling him off.
Good.
Like a shadow.
Very good. So keep the spinning around one, of course, and then change that one where he's being told off. So instead of being told off, they're laughing, they're singing, they're playing, something like that. Have something and praising, going, I am so proud of you. And he's shouting because he's so excited and so proud of him. Yeah, I'm so proud of you. I could burst, son. Or something. Right?
Okay. Yeah. I always struggle with my mum's like side of the family because it was very different to what I try and create. Like there was no sense of education even. They didn't consider education as important. So whenever I try and create that, it just never works. I think it always goes back to its original one, even though I've done like what you said, I've tried, but it just keeps coming back.
Very good. Okay, so let's try this and this experiment here now. So so what have you tried to do? How have you changed it? What's the one that you've been trying to change it to?
So the education one, like valuing education instead of working on the farm.
Good. Okay, so let's try this and see if this helps. And if not, there's probably an anchor and we can look for that. So I want you to imagine, so there's no education. They didn't education. Okay, perhaps they are still on a farm, whatever they do, but this is where it comes in. You don't need education. It's good, but you don't have to have it. The most important thing you have to have is love, enjoyment, happiness, that kind of thing, because then if you get education, you'll be able to absorb it, you'll be able to progress, you'll be able to, your brain will be able to process that information. But if you are trying to get an education and you're not happy, then that's just going to be a struggle.
Okay.
So there's where that work ethic can change, you see. So instead of trying to make them fit the education thing, just change that to where they were very laid back. They had plenty of everything they needed, plenty of money and resources. They had the farm, but they had people working on the farm for them, perhaps, and they just enjoyed life.
Okay, because they were rich, yeah. Like they were actually quite rich, but they insisted on working on farms.
Right. So maybe because they loved the farm and they loved whatever they were farming, and that's great. And then have them, like your mum perhaps is the first one to get an education because she's so excited, and they support her and they go, sweetie, we are so proud of you. And she gets the top of her class, and they're so impressed with her, but they do make sure and say, now listen, remember that this is just for fun. You don't need to, we don't expect anything of you. We will support you as long as you're enjoying yourself. That's the most important thing.
Okay.
How does that sound?
Yeah, I see how this links to situation now. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah, definitely. That's a lot. I'll watch this recording again just to note
Good.
that.
Yes. Yes. And then once you've done that, then think about the IQ results again. Do the thing of worst case scenario. In fact, let's just test it now a little bit and just see if anything's changed. So worst case scenario, you get a score that's like lower than you could have imagined. And you end up doing the biomedicine thing that is your last choice. And how does that feel now? Is it still the same or is it different?
No, it's different. Like ultimately I will get that no matter what. So I think it's okay.
Good. Very good. So you don't have the warm, the hot thing and the good, very, and the sweaty palms. Good job. All right. So make sure to change those references, establish them, and then do the same process. Like you say, watch this recording, follow along to do the allowing again if you do get a reaction. Just keep doing that until you can think of the worst case scenario and you think, it's fine. Whatever happens is fine. I'm not going to die, and I will enjoy whatever I end up doing. And that's the most important thing. And then think about the actual results, and then think about doing those English comprehension. Is it comprehension?
Yeah,
English comprehension things. Do the exercises, do the very easiest possible level first. Keep doing that until you find, you know what, I love doing this. This is so much fun. It's so easy. It's so much fun. And then level up just a little bit and keep doing that. So start with the light stuff, the easiest stuff. Even if you know it's too easy, that's okay. You'll remember, doing this is not necessarily about it, not yet about leveling up. It's about forming that foundation network of, I love this. Because when you are enjoying those exercises and you think, oh yeah, I love doing this, this is so much fun, that's when you'll level up. And that's when it'll get easier. That's when the timing won't be an issue. And that's when you'll go into that exam going, yeah, I can do this. But we're taking away the fear first of the worst case scenario, then building this slowly so that you go into that exam looking forward to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like people who do well, and when they like write feedback and stuff, and they say, I found it really enjoyable, and I think, how can you, I don't get it, how can you find this, it's horrendous. Okay.
So tell me what's horrendous about it. What is it that you hate about it so much?
Well, last time I did every single question I could possibly do,
Yeah.
but I still didn't get a good enough, like a very good score.
Okay.
I wanted higher than I got.
Right.
Yeah, and it just like, I thought I was improving, so I was under a false sense of like hope that I was gonna get a good score and I was gonna end up where I wanted to, but I didn't.
Okay. So you may want to look for a reference there as well, where there's that disappointment that I was expecting something and I didn't get it, and that may be something to do with your parents, something to do with being left in India, whatever, you know, there may still be some stuff there. So I definitely look for those references and change them. But in addition to that, when you just think about the actual work itself, so let's say there was no score, you were just doing the exercise, you were just doing the comprehensive exercises. What don't you like about the actual work itself?
I just don't like getting things wrong.
Okay, so that's where it is. So that's where the bit to look at. But what I want you to do maybe is do some, so am I right in thinking that it's, you read a piece and then they ask you questions about it and you have to answer what you remember or what you comprehended from that piece. Is that right?
No, so this is on a screen, like this is computer based. So you have a text on one side and then you have the questions on the other side. So it's true, false, can't tell, this statement from this passage, or false statements, which of these is correct, is a conclusion, is an inference. And you have like 15 seconds for each one.
Okay, so I want you to do it without, do you have options without the timer, like for practice ones? Do that until, but do it with enjoyment. Like, okay, I'm reading this now, this question, you've got time, there's no timer to begin with, and then see if you can, in fact, here's something. Get into the superpower state first. Then send love to the text and the questions, whether you get them right or not. And this is just in the beginning. And then do the exercise, because as you're getting into that state of unconditional love, as you are sending love to the text and the questions, you're bringing your prefrontal cortex online, because what's happening is when you have to answer that kind of question, or even just reading the text and understanding it, you need that part of your brain online. And if you're going in with, I need to get this right, and all the other stuff, that part of your brain is offline. So it's not that you can't or you don't have the ability, instead you just, you've got the handbrake on.
Yeah.
All right. So, and put on some music, make it fun. Do it in a fun way. In fact, I bet you could find resources online fun ways to improve my English comprehension or something like that. Find some YouTube videos. It's crucial to make it fun and enjoyable in order to get the results you want.
Okay, yeah, like there are games online, yeah. Like, I just think they're a waste of time, but I haven't tried them.
Very good. There's another program there. That's fantastic. So did you say there's a games?
Yeah, it's called Elevate. Yeah.
Perfect. Do that. and do it out of curiosity. So this is not, I know you've been thinking that it's a waste of time, but you haven't tried it yet, so it may not be. So do it with a little curiosity, not for judgment. Just go, okay, well, I'll just try it. It's not going to hurt anything. So give it a go with, and with that intention of it is your top priority to enjoy it, to find a way to make this fun and enjoyable in order to keep that part of your brain online that you need in order to get the scores you want. Make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Good job. You're very welcome. And I'm so proud of you and excited for you.
Thank you.
Good job, Swasti. And of course, you can watch this recording again to remind yourself. Good.
That was a lot of stuff.
Yes, it was. Yeah. You can watch and pause and watch and pause. And hello, Swasti, as you're watching and pausing. That's for you when you watch the recording. Okay, sweetie. Well done.
Thank you so much.
You're right now? You feel good now?
Yeah.
Good. Good job. All right. And then Chris. Hi, Chris.
Hi, hello everyone. Oh, that was so good. It stopped me in my tracks, that did.
Good.
Just
lovely.
Stop and just love the situation exactly as it is and send it unconditional love. I'm constantly, my brain wants to fix everything and solve every problem.
And you're not alone.
Yeah. So I hope that helps someone else, because my brain, it's a bit of a default, and I have been working on it. I am working on that. Just here's come up a little question. So it's to do with quality assurance, unconditional love. I send it in all sorts of ways. It comes out of me in all sorts of ways. I know how we've discussed it, and the conversation we had last week with, or earlier this week with Swasti, when she felt a little bit out of focus with her feeling of unconditional love. So I just decide I'm in that state, and that is just a decision now. But of course, sometimes it's a bit foggy. Sometimes it's, it's pings, and other times it's the important thing for me is it's intentional.
Good.
That's important.
Yes.
And it's not for me to decide on the quality. Almost, it's out there. Once it's intended and once it's gone, I don't need to feel anything, because it's going and I'm doing it. And is there anything about that you want?
Let's look at this. So the very top reason, the priority reason for doing the superpower is for yourself. It's not actually about anyone or anything else.
Yeah.
Top priority is yourself. And then anything that overflows from you and has an effect on others and situations, that's great. But the focus has to be on the inside of you, because even when you are sending it, you're not really, the bottom line is you're not really sending it for that person's sake. You are sending it, it's creating so as you send it to someone else, it's your brain and body that's going into that state.
Of course. Yeah.
It's your brain and body that are producing the endorphins, oxytocin, serotonin that are so good for your body, right?
Yes.
And it's you on a vibrational level, if for people who are aware of that and believe in that, on a vibrational level, it's you who's then attracting that same thing, that same match for yourself. Does that make sense?
That's the right way around. Oh, yeah.
So it doesn't
that's the right way
matter if that person or that thing is receiving it or not. That's got nothing to do with it.
No.
Very good. That help answer?
Oh, completely.
Good.
I'm just looking up effective study strategies, fun study strategies for
Nice.
Swasti on
Nice.
the laptop.
Yeah, I bet there's loads of them.
There's probably many.
And so, in fact, thank you, Chris, for bringing that up, because another thing I wanted to say for Swasti and anybody else is you will probably need to give yourself permission to have fun with it and enjoy it. So, because if anything like me and Steve, I know has had the same thing, where you're not allowed to have fun. This is serious. You must, work and whatever that is. If we've been raised that way, sometimes we need to give ourselves permission to have fun with something. It's okay to have fun and enjoy something and at the same time achieve something. Make sense?
I think, Odile, that what we could offer, a friend of mine, we used to do this back and forth to each other earlier on when we recognized we had this program for not allowing ourselves to have fun, is that we would print out and write ourselves permission slips and send them to each other. It's like, you have my permission to have fun.
That's great. I love that. Yeah, that's fun. You can do that. And if it helps anyone else, I made a mantra for myself a few years ago now, where the New Year's resolution. My New Year's resolution for the last few years has been, if it's not fun, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And if I have to do it, I'll find a way to make it fun.
Yeah.
So I literally now do not do anything I don't like or that's not enjoyable for me. If it's something I have to do, like, there's certain things you have to do, like taxes or cleaning the bathroom, then I find a way to make it fun. And if I can't find a way to make it fun, then I wait until I can. And I'll watch YouTube videos for ideas, like you were saying. So hopefully that helps someone else as well. So thank you, Chris. Good job, you. So proud of you. All right. And Katrina. Hi, Katrina.
Hi, Odile. Okay, we've no time for that, Odile. Anyway, there's one sentence I've written down here, and where do I go with it? So, triggered about someone else's opinion about my weight. When they make a comment, I go straight into my superpower state of annoyance.
Superpower state of annoyance.
Yes, just
okay. All right, let's look at that. Can you give an example? And you don't have to give details, but just like, so somebody says something and what happens? And is it like a critical thing they're saying, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
If we cut down, instead of if you would cut down, it would just be comments being made maybe about other people. Does this person need that? Does that person need that? And it's like, I just want to slap you.
Oh, okay.
Really...
So I was wondering if it was something like that. So this is very interesting.
Oh, okay.
So and it's again, it's a normal human thing. So let's look at this. So if somebody says to me, now if we just cut down on whatever, or like you said, does so and so eat such and such, whatever that is, my brain is interpreting that to mean something, rather than taking it just at face value. So at face value, they're just saying we need to cut down. Okay, so what, right? But the brain is interpreting that to mean they think I'm overweight, or they think I'm eating too much, or they think I shouldn't be eating such and such, right? But they didn't actually say that. That's just the interpretation. So we actually don't know what they mean, because that's only happening inside them.
Oh, I do know what they mean.
How do you know?
I just know.
How? I'm not going to let you get off that easy. Okay, so tell me how you know that that's what they mean. What experiences have you had with these people in the past that says that that's what they mean?
If you if you don't make any changes, then you won't get into you know.
So, this person or these people has said, if you don't make any changes, you won't get into such and such an outfit or something. Is that right? So they've actually said that that clearly.
And I love you in this.
Okay, good. All right, very good. So where you want to aim for is when someone says something like that, you go, oh, anyway, and you just move on. It means nothing, because that's their business. That's what's happening inside them, and that's about their references. Now, in order to get to that point where it doesn't, and this is for everybody, where you're able to look at someone who is being critical, judgmental, mean, whatever they're being, and you're able to recognize it as something that is happening inside them. It's like they're having a moment all by themselves, and it has absolutely nothing to do with you. It's like they're saying, you know, I really don't like your hair green. I much preferred it when it was purple. And you're like, no, okay, means nothing to you. That's where you're aiming to get. So in order to do that, in order to get to that, you need to change the references that are producing the chemicals that are creating those emotions, those feelings that are taking over. Okay, so let's look at it. So what's the worst thing about it? What's the worst thing about somebody making comments that about your weight or about what they think you should be doing?
Well, they're only triggering my own annoyance about my weight.
Right. Okay, good. And here's something very interesting. As long as you are still being triggered and being annoyed about your weight, you're not going to lose the weight, because then you won't be able to play out that pattern. Your subconscious won't have that option. Right? Mm-hmm. So if you've got that pattern playing in the background, it's not your fault and it's not conscious. It's an unconscious program in the background of, this is normal. It's normal to be triggered by this. This is the repeat pattern that I'm playing out. If you change the weight, the so-called protagonist of the story, then you don't get to play out that pattern. Then you'll have to find something else to play out that pattern, or your subconscious will. So that's why it's important to change the trigger, change the reference, so that then the weight can change, because then you don't need that to play that role anymore. You don't need that going on anymore. So it's annoying. It's your own frustration about your weight. And what is what's the worst thing about your weight?
It's not fitting into the nice clothes, the nice jeans, and the nice, yeah.
Now, have you ever seen overweight people, like especially like in the news, like celebrities and that, who look absolutely stunning in their clothes? I have a lot. You have?
Yeah.
Right. So it's not about the weight, because you could just get different clothes that fit your weight now, that look stunning, that are designed especially for whatever shape you are right now.
Yeah.
And being a designer, I know that you have that ability as well. So if this was someone else who was the same weight, the same shape, I bet you could help her find clothes that make her look absolutely stunning. Could you?
Yeah, possibly, yeah. I don't want to be this size. That's the problem.
And why not?
I'm just sort of definitely more confident when I have no weight. Not when I have no weight, when I'm less than, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And so again, that's a reference, because there are plenty of people that are much bigger than you, that have great confidence and do all kinds of things, and, you know, achieve all kinds of amazing things. I mean, Oprah is one of the first ones that comes to mind, because I know she struggled with her weight all her life. But look at her. She looks gorgeous when, you know, she's dressed nice and she's beautiful. She's her personality is fantastic, and look how confident she is and how much she's achieved. It's not about the weight. It's about the reference for the weight. It's about what does it mean. So what does it mean to you? So I know you're thinking, I don't want to be this weight, I want to be that weight, and that's okay. But what does this, let's say you can't change your weight. Let's say this is just the weight that you are forever. What's stopping you from accepting it and loving it and making the most of it and doing what you can with it?
Mm.
Or let me ask you this. When you think of the idea of, let's say now you were told, this is the weight you will always be, there's no way to change it, okay? So what are you going to do now?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm going to say accept it, but probably not, you know.
Okay, so what's stopping you from accepting it? Because like if you can't change it, then you have a choice. Then you can either continue feeling frustrated, even though it's something that can't be changed, or you can find a way to love it, changing whatever references and that, so that you're able to enjoy your life.
I think it's to do with, I was with friends over the weekend and judging, and
They were judging, or you were judging?
They were judging.
They were judging, right? How were they judging? Like,
yeah.
talking about you?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, oh my goodness. Wow, look at the, can't believe
how big you are?
Yeah.
Huh.
And you would look so much, you know, I said, well, what do you think, you know, what would be a good number to come back to? And they're saying, well, release 2 stone, you know, so they're very in my face and how much, and yeah, you'd be more acceptable if you were this rather than this.
And my answer to them would be, oh, thank you. Oh, look how big you are. Thank you. Yes, there's more of me to love.
I did go down that road.
Okay.
No, I did go down that road, but I'm back with myself.
All right. So let's now look at this. So I want you to feel the feeling of that judgment. So let's say you've just found out you are never going to lose. You're going to be this size and this weight now on moving forward forever. And they are judging. So think of their judgment and just notice that feeling, that emotion of being judged. Can't change the weight because it's here for good now. And how does that feel? And we're not going to stop the feeling, remember?
Yeah.
We're going to allow it.
I don't like this thing of being judged.
Yeah, being judged. That's where it is. So the being judged, I want you to just sit there with being judged. So you're being judged, and notice where in your body you feel that feeling of being judged. You got it? Good. And now home in on the feeling, the sensation. So put your hand on your leg if you need to. Remind yourself that that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the feeling, the sensation, the physical sensation. It's got no meaning. We're not talking about emotions right now. We're talking about sensations. All right? So there's no meaning to them. Focus on the feeling, the physical feeling. Where in your body do you feel it?
Assisting all over.
Good, good. So notice it and just allow it to be there. It's okay. No thoughts, no meaning, no judgment, no trying to stop it. Just allow it to be there. It's just these sensations. Just like, you know, a breeze through the room. It's just a feel, just a sensation. Can you do that?
It's probably bringing up Anger now.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what led to the anger? What thought came up that led to the anger?
When I thought more about the judgment.
That's it. Okay. So for the moment, we're going to just pin the judgment. Okay. The actual whatever was going on with the judgment. We're just going to pin that. It'll be there, but we're just putting it to the side for the moment. And we're going to focus fully on the physical sensations. Can you do that? Describe the physical sensations if it helps. So is it in your toes? Is it in your eyelashes? Where is it? It's in your chest? Good.
It's in my throat.
In your
Because
throat.
I want to speak and I can't.
You can't speak. So now calm, go very, very calm and notice the feeling in your throat without needing to speak and without needing to stop it. Because as you try and stop it, it intensifies it. It makes it stronger. So just allow that feeling in your throat to be there. There's no judgment. There's no need to stop it. There's no rush. There's no need to change it. Just calmly allow it to be there. And what's your favorite color? Well, don't worry to try and speak. I've just realized I've said don't worry about speaking, and then I ask you a question. Okay. So whatever your favorite color is, I want you to imagine that's the color in your throat right now. You can use my nails as a guide if you like. Or whatever color.
Do I have a color here?
Fantastic.
I've got one.
Good, good. So allow that color to be on your throat and gently just allow whatever's there. Can you do that? Good. Good job, Katrina. Very, very good. Okay. And so now I want you to step back from that feeling and see if you can have it in front of you. And if you don't have a visual, that's okay. Just a knowing if you can. Are you able to do that?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And just notice what qualities that feeling has. If it has, if it's an entity or it's a thing, whatever it is, just notice. And now ask that feeling what it needs. And if you don't get an answer, that's okay. We're just checking.
Well, there's 3 parts, so which one am I asking?
Ask all of them.
Justice.
Justice. Yes, I figured that might be the case. All right, when the anger came up. Okay, so due justice letter. Now, who judged you first? What's your earliest memory of being judged?
I wondered, was it me the time with the money? Remember remember that game? And I moved.
Yes.
Would that be?
How old were you then, approximately?
Say, I don't know. Say between 10 and 12, sort of that age. I don't really know exactly.
Perfect. Yep. So when you think of that time right now, what's there? What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of that time, that experience?
Well, I remember judging me, you know. I remember judging me for, yeah.
That's perfect. That'll probably be it, or certainly be a big one, big part of the reference. So what you want to end up with is that there's no stepping stone, there's no judgment. You were just a child. And you were just doing, everyone is always doing the best they can with what they have at the time. And children are not, for the most part, children are not trying to be bad. They're just everybody is trying to feel better in the moment. And so every reaction, every response, every behavior is about trying to feel better in some way, whatever that is. All right? And cannot believe the percentage of children that steal or have stolen. somewhere along the line from someone in some way. Right? There's many, and many clients I've worked with. That's one of the issues. It's a natural part of being a child. And then this huge drama is put on it instead of it just being guidance. Right? So, and yeah, so I have other examples, but that the bottom line is it's not as big a deal as people make out, as the adults make out. And the adults are responding in that way out of fear and their own references. All it really needs is, sweetheart, don't do that. You know, if you need something, then just ask for it. So I'll say this, my son, bless his heart, I don't know how old he was, about that age, 8, 9, 10, I don't know. No, about 10, 11. I discovered as I was getting things ready for to leave, there was a pound coin in his shoe. And he'd taken it from wherever it was, I don't know, on my desk or something. And he put it in his shoe. And he was going to take it with him to school and hadn't mentioned it to me. And having been that child, I took the pound coin. I said, sweetheart, I noticed that you took this. You mustn't take it without asking, okay? Because that's, you know, just ask me and you can have it, but you must ask me. And he was so, I could see the shame and that, and I said, no, there's no need to be ashamed. It's fine. You were just testing, you were trying it out. It's absolutely fine. But just in future, just ask me, okay? And then it was fine. And that's, so the reason I'm sharing that with you is if you imagine that that's the way, that's the response for that little Katrina. She's not a criminal, and even if she was, but she just did that. That's normal, that's a child. And so have your parents or whoever, different people, and you tell her, it's okay, sweetheart, it happens. You didn't mean bad. It's just that you were just doing it for whatever reason. But the great news is, if you need money, you can have it. You just ask me, I tell you what, let's give you an allowance or whatever. So make sure that she has what she needs so she doesn't need to take it from somewhere else. How does all of that sound?
That's actually brilliant. Yeah, that's probably it. Because I'm always judging, and then I blame other people for judging.
That's it. Yes. Very good. So, and it's natural because that age, you know, you receiving the judgment, that's how you're supposed to behave then. So you change that and then the rest changes. Sound good?
Sounds brilliant. Yes, thank you.
Oh, you're so very welcome, Katrina. And I bet that when you get to that point where the judgment is gone and you love the way you are, no matter what, you will start losing weight.
Okay.
I bet that will happen. But you need to be fine even if it doesn't in order for it to happen, of course. So we know that. But and of course, if you get to a point where you still need a due justice, do a due justice as well if you need to. So, but hopefully that will help you move forward now.
Yes, fantastic. Oh no, I'm going to do the letter, yeah.
All right. Very good, Katrina. I am so excited for you. Good job. And thank you so much for sharing this, because this is something that a lot of people probably have as well and haven't connected to things that are in their lives at the moment, is those judging those little ones, the little them, or being judged. Perfect. Thank you, Katrina. All right. Okay. And so, Steve, anything from any questions from the chat that I need to address?
No questions. Some great comments. One that Ilya sent toward the last there: sending unconditional love to others is like saying, I love you, but that is none of your business.
Oh, I love that. That's brilliant. Good job, Ilya. And I would like to, if that's okay with you, I would love to use that as a quote. I will credit you with it, of course. I'll create a meme for it. I love that. I think that's love you, but that is business. That's unconditional love. Good job. All right. So let's begin with the targeting then. So Steve, if you could send me the targets, and let's go into the superpower state. So take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer. Go into your superpower state, however you normally do that. So using your word or phrase, your anchor, or focusing on your subject. Very good. Feel your heart opening, your chest expanding, allowing that light or energy to shine out from you. Good job. Now allow that light or energy to fill your subject. And then imagine your subject doesn't want to be with you or doesn't have the qualities you love and admire about them, and keep them filled with that light, that energy anyway. Feeling that expansion feeling. Good job. And now let's go to Lisa. So fill Lisa with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Lisa just for existing. Very good. And allow that light, that energy to overflow from Lisa and fill the outcomes everywhere in financial states of the whole planet, whether they're abundant and peaceful or not. Love it all exactly as it is, whatever it is. Everyone involved, all the circumstances, all the results, no matter what, shining this light into any darkness. Very good. Good job. And now to Chris. Fill Chris with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Chris just for existing. And then allow that light or energy to overflow from Chris and fill her elderly father-in-law who's in hospital. Fill him with that same light, that energy. From the tips of his toes to the top of his head and out to his fingertips. Love Chris's father-in-law just for existing, no matter what. Exactly as he is. Very good. And now to Swasti. Fill Swasti with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Swasti just for existing. Good job. And now to Katrina. Fill Katrina with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Katrina just for existing. Good job. And now everybody who's off camera today in this session, and everyone who's watching the recording, fill all of them with that same light, that energy, loving them exactly as they are, no matter what, shining this light into any darkness, loving it all anyway. Good job. Very good. And now yourself later today, fill that version of you with that same light, that energy, that love, no matter what. Very good. And pick a target, either in your life or in the world, that triggers you, and aim this light, this energy, this love, this power at that target, shining this light into any darkness, loving that target exactly as it is and without needing it to change. That's where the power is. Feeling the amping up of your power as you're able to do that. And surge. Very good. And surge again. Good job. All right, you can open your eyes. And if you have them closed, and we will see you. You're very, very welcome. You're very welcome, everybody. Thank you for the messages, and we will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. And look after yourselves in the meantime. Keep practicing, and we'll see you then. Lots of love, everybody. Bye-bye now.